Hi, Multiplex Studio here. Today I'm going to explain a coming-of-age comedy drama film called 3 Idiots. Spoilers ahead. Watch out and take care. Farhan, a 30-year-old passenger, is on a plane that is about to take off. He receives a call, and the information they share completely astounds him. He gets out of his seat as soon as the jet takes off and moves toward the stewardess. But before he can, a sudden severe pain in his chest knocks him out. Farhan is brought outside in a wheelchair as soon as the pilots re-enter the airspace. The rapid opening of his eyelids indicates that he was fabricating the heart attack. He performs a few jumping jacks, telling his caregiver that everything appears good, and then he takes off, away. Then he dashes over to Raju's house, a friend. Additionally, he phones Raju and informs him about Rancho's return as their third companion. Both Farhan and Raju are equally astounded by the news. He immediately dons a shirt before grabbing his shoes and running outside. Farhan reminds him to wear his pants when the pals get together. However, none of the buddies seem to care because finding their long-lost friend Rancho was more important than finding their misplaced clothes. They visit their former engineering institution when they run across Chatur, an egotistical, credulous man who was their undergraduate opponent. It turns out that back in college, Chatur gambled against Farhan and his crew. On September 5th, 10 years later, they decided to get together to see who had achieved the most success. Chatur brought up the foolish bet while everyone else had forgotten about it. All back to the same location. He also discloses that he is a millionaire and the vice president of Rockledge Corporation. The other two are only interested in meeting Rancho and don't care about his accomplishment. Rancho abruptly left after graduation and hasn't gotten in touch with them since it is learned. After several failed attempts, they stopped looking for him. Chatur swears that Rancho is in Simla just as they are about to beat him up for wasting their time. To bring them together and demonstrate to them how far he has come in life, he wants to take them to Simla. Farhan and Raju are willing to accompany him and are unconcerned with his attempts to make a point. He is superior to them. In a flashback, we see Farhan starting his first year of college. He was given a single room to share with Rancho and Raju. Rancho is from a wealthy family, whereas Farhan and Raju are mediocre students from low-income families. Farhan wants to capture nature, but is attending engineering school to please his father. In contrast, Raju aspires to improve the financial situation of his family. Rancho is a brilliant, affluent man who learns purely for enjoyment. However, Rancho is more interested in knowledge than exam rankings and enjoys disassembling and reassembling machinery. Rancho annoys Professor Viru Sahastrabudhhe, Virus, Bowman Irani, the college dean, with his unconventional methods. After fellow student Joy Lobo kills herself in his dorm room, Rancho confronts Virus and annoys his instructors with his inventive and quirky responses. Joy had asked for a delay in finishing his big project since his father had had a stroke, but Virus refused, adding that he was utterly unmoved by the accidental death of his own kid from being hit by a train. Rancho criticizes the institution's dog-eat-dog, mindless rote learning, and blames it for Lobo's demise. Virus calls Rancho an idiot and makes numerous attempts to break up his friendship with Farhan and Raju, advising them and their parents to stay away from Rancho because he feels threatened by Rancho's talent and free-spirited nature. In contrast, Chatur Ramalingam, also known as Silencer, Omi Vaidya, is Virus's ideal student. He views a high rank at the esteemed university as his ticket to increase social standing, business influence, and ultimately money. Chatur complies with the requirements of the system. By inserting profanities into the text that the librarian had written, Rancho humiliates Chatur, who has been given the privilege of delivering a speech at an awards ceremony. As might be expected, Chatur rote memorizes the language without seeing anything odd, possibly helped by his ignorance of Hindi. His speech makes the audience laugh, making the authorities furious in the process. When Rancho, Raju, and Farhan break into her sister's wedding banquet to grab a free lunch, they end up falling in love with Pia, Kareena Kapoor, the medical student daughter of Virus. This further enrages Virus.
Rancho continues to win every competition, but the three students continue to irritate Virus. Although Rancho consistently places first, Chatur consistently comes in second, and Farhan and Raju invariably finish last, Rancho continues to dominate all exams. The three pals, who are already intoxicated, break into Virus's home late at night so Rancho may pop the question to Pia. They then urinate on a door inside the compound before fleeing when Virus notices them. The following day, Virus threatens to dismiss Raju if he speaks negatively about the other two. Raju jumps out of the third-floor window because he can't decide whether to disappoint his family or his friend. He lands in a courtyard, but comes out of a coma with the help of Pia and his roommates. Farhan and Raju adopt Rancho's perspective because the encounter has transformed them. Farhan decides to pursue his passion for photography, and Raju approaches a corporate job interview unexpectedly. He attends in a wheelchair and plaster and provides several candid, non-conformist responses. However, Virus is indifferent and promises to make the final exam as challenging as possible to prevent Raju from receiving a diploma. Pia hears him and confronts him violently. When Virus responds to her with the same ruthless response he provides to his students, Pia denounces him like Rancho did following Lobo's suicide. Since Virus had made him choose an engineering career over his love of literature, Pia reveals that Viru's son and her brother were not killed in an accident but instead committed suicide in front of a train and left a letter. Virus had repeatedly mentioned how he had unsympathetically failed his son on the ICE entrance exams with each new intake of ICE students. Pia then exits the family home while carrying Virus' extra set of keys. She informs Rancho about the exam, and he and Farhan enter Virus's office and steal the exam, which they then deliver to Raju. Raju, with his newfound attitude, is unconcerned with the possibility of failing, refuses to cheat, and throws the paper away. However, Virus catches the group and immediately expels them. When Viru's older daughter Mona Singh, who is pregnant, goes into labor at the same time, they are granted a reprieve. Pia, who is still in self-imposed exile due to the severe storm, gives Rancho the order to deliver the child via VoIP in the college common room after Rancho restores electricity with the use of vehicle batteries and an inverter Rancho invented and Virus derided. The baby is then delivered by Rancho using a homemade vacuum extractor. Rancho revives the baby after it seemed to have died during delivery. As a result of their reconciliation, Virus permits Rancho and his pals to take their final examinations and graduate. Rancho wins first place and receives Virus's pen, which the professor had been hoarding for years before deciding on a deserving pupil to give it to. Intermittent flashbacks from the current day. When they get to Rancho's home, they enter the wake for his father and discover a different Rancho, Jav Jaffrey. The host pulls a gun on them after accusing the new man of taking their friend's identity and making money off of his intelligence. But Farhan and Raju turn the tables by seizing the father's ashes and threatening to flush them down the toilet. The householder gives in and admits that Rancho was a rich, slacker child who detested school, whereas their companion was a poor servant boy who enjoyed learning. As a result, the family agreed to let the servant boy study at Rancho's place rather than work. In exchange, the genuine Rancho would keep the credentials and their perks, while the imposter would cut off all contact with the outside world and begin a new life. The genuine Rancho admits that his imposter is currently a Ladakh schoolteacher. Then, Raju and Farhan track down Pia and take her to Suhas by pulling the same pranks on his worldly belongings, having Raju show up at the wedding pretending to be the groom, and then secretly eloping with Pia in public. When they arrive in Ladakh, they are greeted by a group of eager youngsters who are inspired by a love of learning. While Chater makes fun of and degrades Rancho the teacher before leaving, Pia and the phony Rancho revive their relationship. He calls Chater, who has turned his back, to come around and meet his potential business partner after confessing that his real name is Funsik Wangdu when his buddies inquire what it is. In shock, Chater collapses to his knees, admits defeat, and then proceeds to argue his point with Funsik to forge the professional connection he sought. Subscribe for more videos like this, turn on notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.